Well, good evening, everyone. My name's Warren Lance, and this week we are in for an absolute amazing treat. Many of us come across individuals that say they're too old to do this. Well, this next individual started Isagenix when he was 74 years old, and let me tell you, I've seen pictures at 74, and he looks younger at 84 than 74. This individual has been, to a large degree, just a massive, massive driving force in taking Isagenix to a half a billion a year company. I think he has more millionaires in his organization than any other team in the company. It is just absolutely remarkable what this individual's done. I mean, he's had the Man of the Year award, the President's Award, the Ambassador Award. I mean, there is an award in Isagenix that, other than Woman of the Year, but this gentleman has received it all. He's truly not only an ambassador to Isagenix, but he's an ambassador to the industry. He's really a shining example of how to do it right, and he doesn't really care whether you're on his team, off his team, cross-line, sideline, upline, or even in a different company. He's happy to talk to you and give you suggestions to move you forwards, because he's truly a professional network marketer. And when I say truly a professional network marketer, I want to let you guys let this sink in. This individual, between him and his two daughters, he came in, he placed Kathy on one side, Grace on the other, and they got going building. And over the past 12 years, they've generated commissions in excess of $40 million US. And I straight that because, I mean, we have people calling in from New Zealand, Australia, Puerto Rico, Malaysia. I mean, we got the world covered, guys. I mean, this is an international call to Take Action Teams and international team, and it is my most incredible privilege to bring onto the call tonight the overall number one money earner in Isagenix, none other than Mr. Jimmy Smith, the Butcher. Are you there, Jimmy?
I am, Warren, and thank you for that beautiful introduction, my man.
Well, it's been a while since we've had you on the call. Any more grandchildren since the last time we spoke?
Yeah, I think, I had to.
Well, tell us, how many kids do you have and how many grandchildren now?
I had 28 grandchildren, 20 great-grandchildren, 2 on the way. Very soon. Any day now.
Well, Jimmy, you've accomplished it all in Isagenix. But how about we roll back the clock a time and just share with everyone, because I don't think you were born a network marketer. This is something that you got into. Can you sort of share with us what you did prior to network marketing and how you got involved in network marketing in the first place? I mean, because you must have been a rocket scientist or some sort of like scholar or something in order to qualify you to be so incredibly successful in this industry. So what did you do prior to network marketing, Jimmy?
Well, Warren, I started out at age 16 in the butcher shop with my dad, and I worked in the butcher shop from age 16 to age 56. In 1983, I was 56 years old. I laid in the hospital for 14 days with a bad back. I couldn't walk. They told me if I continued to do that job, I would definitely end up in a wheelchair. And they gave me my full pension when Ronald Reagan was taking blind people off Social Security. My company gave me my full pension, full Social Security, and said, Jimmy, go find a new career. You served us well for the last 40 years. So there I was, 56. The only way I knew to make a living was going, and I had to find a way to make a living because 56 is too young to retire. So I started searching, and I stumbled onto network marketing 6 years later. In 1988, at age 62, I was introduced. I went to my first network marketing opportunity meeting, and I was just blown away when I found out the geometric progression of numbers and what that is. And I found out by a guy giving me a video. It was an hour and 45 minutes, and this guy, Don Fayas, stood with a whiteboard and a Hawaiian shirt and drew circles and taught me that the geometric progression of numbers which each and every person on this call needs to know the power of duplication. That's what makes this thing so amazing. It's all about duplication. It's not about what you do. It's not about it's who you bring in, what they do, what their people do, all the way down, 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 down. Duplication is the most powerful thing in my mind on the universe. Duplication, the duplication concept. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 times 2 is 8, 16, 32, 64. You got to know those numbers. You got to know them like the back of your hand.
Okay. So you watched this video by Don Fay, and I'll just put out, I understand that Don Fay now, I don't know, 20 years, 30 years later is now in your downline in one of your re-entries, so congratulations there.
Yeah, just signed him up recently, took him on a cruise, called him up and said, I don't want to pay you back. You don't know it, but you helped me 20 years ago, and I made a fortune. And now took his wife and him on a cruise, and it was compelling for him when he seen what Isagenix had to offer. He had to join. He had no choice. He just joined. He just signed right up. It was like a slam dunk.
Well, okay, so I know we want to get into that later on, but yeah, let's come back to that. What was so compelling? Let's come back to that in a moment. So you got this video. He's explaining the geometric progression of numbers and the power as this starts to grow exponentially. I mean, you can create a massive, massive organization over time. Now, I mean, were you an instant success? Explain your initial few years in the industry. How did it go? Did you have some bumpy times? Did you have some challenges before Isagenix?
Boy, am I glad you asked me that question. For everybody, every single person on this call, I struggled. I knew nothing about network marketing. The first thing I learned was the numbers. I learned 5. Who did 5 is 25, 125, 625, 3,000, 125, 15,000, 625, 78,000, 120. 5 to the power 5, 7 level. Deep is 97,000 people. You add it up. They spend 100 BV a month. That's $9 million. You get 5%. That's $450,000 a month. That drove me crazy. And I did them numbers over and over again. And someday, when I find the right company with the right products and the right compensation plan, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to make $400,000 a month. That was my goal. And believe me, I searched for 14 years. I want everybody to know. I struggled. I got in the industry at 62. I made 62 to 67, 5 years. I didn't make a dime. I put everything back in the business. I went bankrupt in 1993 and made $1 million in 2003. So from age 62 to 67, I failed miserably. From age 67 to 74, I made $2 million. I worked really hard. I still put most of it back in the business. At age 74, I was introduced to Isagenix, and I said, oh, my God, this is the company I've been looking for 14 years. This is the company that I've been looking for. I said to my dear friend Carol Taylor, God bless her, she called me and told me about this company. And she told me her husband lost 31 pounds in 33 days. I needed to lose weight. I was 25 pounds overweight. I said, I want the product ASAP, Carol. If it works for me like it did for Peter, look out. I'm going to run with it. I'm going to drop everything I'm doing and go full bore. And thank God I did 2 back-to-back 9 days, lost 21 pounds, 4 inches off my waist, felt great, had energy, and I went to work. And I rolled my sleeves up. And boy, this was the dream company for me. And when I started, we only had the 9-day for the first 2 years. We didn't have no bonus money. It was just cycles. And I got to 50,000 a week in 2 years just with the 9-day system. But I was on the phone. I was talking. If I wasn't talking to somebody about Isagenix, I was not. I was like a fish out of water. I did this with a passion from day one. I never did anything in my life with more passion than I've done Isagenix. But guess what, guys? For the 14 years before Isagenix, I spent at least 10 or 20,000 hours or 30,000 hours learning network marketing, teaching myself network marketing. Like Abraham Lincoln said, if a man or woman prepares themselves properly, when an opportunity knocks, they'll be ready.
Okay, whoa, Jimmy. So you said you spent 10 to 30,000 hours. We know to master anything, you need to invest 10,000 hours. Now, when you say that, teaching yourself network marketing, because your background was a butcher, and I know because you and I have become very good friends over the years, I know while you were going to school, I mean, nice cars, nice clothes, and chasing girls was a priority. It wasn't really studying. So please help me understand and the rest of us understand, how did you teach yourself network marketing? What did that look like? What kind of activities were you doing on a daily basis to teach yourself?
I would join different companies. I would learn their compensation plan. I would use their products. I would go to their meetings. I wouldn't miss a meeting. If there was a meeting within 100 miles, I was there. I bought all the tapes. I bought all the books. I constantly read. My car became a classroom. My wife used to say, would you please turn them things off? I don't want to listen to that. I would listen to Jim Rohn, Burke Hedges, Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, Dennis Waitley, anything I could find that had network marketing. And I just saturated myself. I spent thousands of hours learning. And that's what you have to do. You have to become a student of network marketing. And I'll tell you, it's the most refreshing, most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. And if you want to be successful, you have to do it with a passion. Half measures will tell you nothing. You can't do this 3-4 hours a week and expect to be successful. You have to do this. I did it 8 to 10 hours a day, every day when I first got in. And that's why I'm where I'm at. The guy at the top of the mountain didn't fall there, he climbed there. But I want to tell you, this company that we're in, Isagenix, I knew it the day I signed up with my sponsor, Carol Taylor. I drove 1,000 miles to Atlanta to meet Jim and Kathy Coover. I fell in love with them. I said, these are the people I want to work with. This is the kind of people I want to be associated with. A couple of months later, John Anderson was in Atlanta. I drove 1,000 miles again to meet John Anderson. I said, wow, this guy's the real deal. He gave me his cell phone number. And once I met the principals of this company, Jim and Kathy Coover and John Anderson and Cher, it was over for me. I knew I had the right company. And even though we only had the 9-day at that time, I knew this was the right company. I knew this compensation plan there was something magic about it. And it was my dream come true. I always dreamed of a company that would pay 15 or 20 levels. When I found Isagenix, so my sponsor, Carol Taylor, said it pays not 600 on one side, 300 on the other, 2/3, 1/3 binary. It pays $54 for each time you get 900 volume. I said, how far down? She said, all the way down. I said, no, how far down? It has to stop somewhere. No, Jimmy, it doesn't stop. It goes all the way down. I couldn't believe it. I said, you got to be kidding me. I don't believe it. They're going to pay 6% all the way down. They're going to run out of money. Well, guess what? It's 12 years later. They've never missed a check. They've never been wrong. They've never been late. And it's 12 years, and they're giving out bonus money in the front, which I never thought they would do, but it's unbelievable. This is a legacy company. This is the real deal, guys, the real deal.
Absolutely. And, I mean, Jim Coover's a pretty brilliant man. I mean, he's the one that designed Nu Skin's compensation plan, and he's the one that put our compensation plan together, and it's certainly standing the test of time. If anything, Isagenix keeps getting stronger and stronger. In the last few years, to put $20 million in upfront bonus money into the comp plan. So you're absolutely correct. Now, you're talking about compensation plans, Jimmy, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's like sort of 4 major ones. You have the stair-step breakaway, which is the big old boys like Amway, Herbalife, Nu Skin. There's the stair-step breakaway. You have the uni level. You have the matrix. And then you also have the binary. Now, can you explain to us, because I know you're very, very big on we should understand the differences between the 4 sort of primary compensation plans. So can we sort of go over that first, and then can we delve deeper into the binary, because I know we sort of have a hybrid binary, and it's a little different than other ones, like a 10% lesser leg like Monavie. But can we first of all start off, can you give everyone a little bit of a education on why all the companies sort of started 40, 50 years ago all tend to have a stair-step breakaway, and where the flaws are in that and how the industry's evolved?
Yeah, when I started in 1959, they didn't have computers like they have today. And Herbalife in 1980, and all the different older companies. And you're right, Warren, all the older companies have what they call stair-step breakaway compensation plans. They all have different variations, but it's the same idea. And in those plans, because they didn't have computers, they would only pay 3 levels deep. So there's one company out there, I won't mention any names, but it's because I don't want to do that. There's one company out there, Breakaway, that pays 3% on the first level, 2% on the second, 1% on the third. Now, you put everybody in your first level. And I know someone that's in my downline now that was in a Breakaway company here for years and years, 26 years. She had 137 people on her first level. Now, she would get 3% of their wholesale volume. And then they would build their first level, become her second level. She'd get 2% there. And then the second level would build her third level, and she'd get 1% there. And so there's an old cliche in network marketing, go wide for show and deep for dough. So all those breakaways, you would go wide. Everybody, you never put anybody other than the first level because it would cost you money. If you put them on the second level, you only get paid 2 levels. If you put them on the third level, you only get paid 1 level. So you had to put them on the first level. Now, for years and years before computers, they thought that was the only plan that would really work. A lot of people made a lot of money, but those plans were so cumbersome, so hard. It's like you had like a store in your house. If you were an Amway and you were reach a certain pinnacle in Amway, like 15,000 a month volume, you come up direct. And then you break away from your group and you get a small percentage, like 4% of the whole group. But what happened, everybody would have to order the product through you. All the product would be delivered to you. People would have to come to your house and pick it up. And then the check would come to you for 10 or 20,000, and you'd have to pay out all the distributors. They only shipped the directs. They only paid directs. That was very cumbersome. That was very hard. You'd be better off having a store in a mall than that, and doing that. But nevertheless, Dexter Yeager, Bill Britt, a lot of people became multi-millionaires. But because it was so hard, the survival of the fittest, most people didn't succeed. They had a real high failure rate. And here it is 52 years later. We'll just take the biggest one of all doing I think 12.4 billion last year. 95% of their sales is in Southeast Asia. They're not growing in the United States. They're not growing in North America. And they only have 4 million distributors, and we're only doing 12 billion. If you're around for 52 years in network marketing and you're not doing 100 million with 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, 20 million distributors, something's wrong with that picture. But then when computers came, they started getting creative. And then they started to come with a uni level. Well, uni level is still, you put everybody in your first level. Say a uni level pays 7 levels deep. So you get paid, say, 5% of the first, 5% of the second, maybe 10 on the third, 10 on the fourth, 4 on the fifth, 4 on the sixth, 3 on the seventh. It goes something like that. And after the 7th level or whatever level it pays, you don't get paid. If I came in, if our company is uni level, and I came in on the 7th, 8th level, everybody above me wouldn't get paid. A lot of people wouldn't get paid on me. Where the beautiful thing here, the volume goes up. No matter how far down you are, you catch that volume. So the problem with the uni level, and everybody on this call understands this doing the business, all the zeros you see. You get a 7-level uni level plan, and it doesn't have dynamic compression. You're going to have 0, 0, zeros, and next thing you know, you're going to have all these people, and you're not going to be making any money because it's going to be all zeros. Nobody's going to be buying. And your best distributors are going to be way down below your 7th or 8th level, whatever it is. And that's abusive, too. I don't like that. The uni level is better than breakaway. And then you got the matrix. There's only one company out there that has survived over the years where the matrix begins with them. Everybody knows it. And they pay 7%, 7 levels deep. But once again, after the 7th level, you don't get paid. So if somebody comes in your organization on the 8th level, 9th level, 10th level, 15th level, and that happens all the time, you don't get paid. You don't feel a thing. You didn't even know they're there. And I just give you an example. I had a lady call me up. She was in a juice company, and she was trying to give me her company. She had her volume was $16 million a month, and she was making $50,000 a month. My volume was $4 million a month. I was making $50,000 a week. And I said to her, how can you justify, you have 4 times the volume I have, and I'm making 4 times what you're making. I'm making a week what you're making a month. You know what she told me? The number 1 and number 2 income earners in that company were in her damn line, but out of her pay structure. She didn't get paid on it. She's seen her volume every month, but she didn't get paid on it. And incidentally, while I'm thinking about it, the only companies that pay weekly are binary compensation plans, and there's not that many of them. Most other companies, the Matrix, the Sterific Way, and the Union, they all pay monthly. I like weekly better.
Oh, and I like now, better too.
Yeah. And now, so there's the number. All the old companies, Emily Shackley, Mary Kay, Herbalife, Nu Skin, they all have compensation plans called stair-step breakaways, and I call them dinosaurs. And you know what happened to dinosaurs? They went away. And I just nicknamed them dinosaurs. That just feels good with me. And so now there's only one Matrix that's made it over the years. It's still in business. It's still making money. But it's a very slow boat to China. It took their top earner 18 years to get to $2 million a year. It took me 4 years. Big difference. Might be a clue. It took me 5 years to get to $5 million a year, and it took them 18 years to get to $2 million a year. It took me 5 years to get to $5 million a year as a family. And so that might be a clue that we have a better plan. And so then finally, the latest plan to hit the industry is the binary compensation plan, which we're in.
Okay.
Do you want me to go into the binary?
Yeah, Jimmy, because I know, just touching on the stair-step breakaway, because many people have had experiences there. And, I mean, I've heard horror stories where you have a person that you've been working with, you're supporting, you're building them up, you're encouraging them, and then they break away out of your organization, and you can end up taking like a $10,000 hit per month to your paycheck because they've now broken away. I had one leader actually in my organization that said, Warren, you think that's bad? Try having 2 people break away in the same month. I took a $20,000 hit to my pay. I mean, like, holy cow. It's sort of like you want to work with someone, encourage them, and then when they start getting close to that breakaway mark, I mean, you almost want to sabotage them because you're going to take a massive hit. I mean, doesn't seem right.
You're working with somebody, you got somebody you're down on, you're getting 30% of their wholesale volume, you're getting 30%, and then you work with them, you train them, you help them become good, and then they break away, and then you get 4% over their group, and you lose they don't qualify for that. They don't help you qualify any longer yet. And I know the company that you're talking about because I was in it, and I realized it.
Crazy. Now, okay, so now you have the binary. In the last 10 years, predominantly every company that started up now has gone to a binary compensation plan. And there's sort of 2 different types, or let's say 2 predominantly. You have the types that are either like a 1/3, 2/3 match like us, 300 on one side, 600 on the other. Or it may be a perfect match. Initially it was a perfect match and the industry's evolved. And then you have these binaries, say sort of like Monavie, and I'll use that because everyone knows it, which is a 10% lesser leg. Do you want to explain the binary and sort of explain the differences between what we have and what a lot of the other companies have?
Okay. My last company was what they call a balanced binary. A balanced binary means you have to balance your legs. So the first thing in that company, when you got 250 in your right leg, 250 in your left leg, that was $500. You got 8%. You made $40. Then when you got 500 in left and 500 right, $1,000. You got 10% of $1,000. You got $100. When you got 2,000 left and 2,000 right, 4,000. You got 10%. You got 400. Now, if you had any volume over that 2,000. The 2,000 on the right, that would flush. But if you had 2,500 on each leg, 500 would carry over. You have to know that. When you had 3,000 right, 3,000 left for a total of 6,000, you got 10%, 600. When you got 4,000 right, 4,000 left, 8,000, 10%, 800. When you got 5,000 in the right leg and 5,000 in the left leg, you got 10% of 5,000 in the right, 500. 10% of 5,000 left, 500. You made $1,000. And you got one share of the leadership bonus was $150. So you were making $1,150. $1,150. Now, that was it. That's all you can make by building two legs. Now, if those legs, if the right leg grew to $1 million a week and the left leg grew to $1.5 million, that would be $2.5 million a week. You would still only get paid on $5,000 in each leg. Now, where would all that money go to? Up to the company. Now, if you wanted to make more money, you could re-enter below, not above, below, and build two more legs. And when you got 5,000 right and 5,000 left, you made another $1,000. I was trying to build 12 business centers, which means I would have to max out 4 legs, 12 business centers. I'd have to build 24 legs to make $1.7 million. And that's when I was introduced to Isagenix. Now, just to show you the difference, when I came from that company to Isagenix, I was told I could build 2 legs, a right leg and a left leg, and now you can make $13,500 a week. That's a lot better than $1,150. That's a lot better. Now,
Jimmy, can I interject there?
Pardon me?
Can I interject for 2 seconds? Because you were talking, it was balance. Now, I've been at Isagenix for 10 years, and I can tell you initially my left leg took off like a rocket ship. And then I was working with my right leg, and I finally caught up to my right leg caught up, then surpassed, and then it just went on. I got in a network marketer, Michael Barker, and it took off. And then I was working my left, trying to get it caught up. Almost got caught up, then Kyle took off, and I became grossly lopsided again. I mean, my experience over the last 10 years is it's very hard to have a perfectly balanced organization. So what happens to the extra there in that one? Does it just always disappear if you're not perfectly balanced?
Well, it disappears at the end of the month. Each week it doesn't. It comes back each week. But the most important thing to understand about the balanced binary and the 2/3, 1/3, they could only pay on 5,000 in each leg, where Isagenix is paying on 150,000 one leg and 75,000 the other leg. Isagenix is paying you 6% of $225,000. The other company is paying you 10% of $10,000. That's a huge difference. And then when you come in our company, Isagenix, you re-enter above. And every time you get 300 in your re-entry, you cycle. That's 18%. Now you're going to get 18% unlimited depth when you get 75,000 volume in your re-entry. You're maxed out at 13,500 a week. That is the best kept secret in the industry. That is the best kept secret. We didn't have that in the beginning. That's been given to us. That's been one of the enhancements to the compensation plan. And so, my friends, there is nothing out there even close to this. Nothing even close. This is the Rolls-Royce of the industry. This is a legacy company. This will be here for your kids, your grandkids, and your great-grandkids. Trust
now,
me.
what about the 10% lesser leg binary, like similar to Monavie? And there's other companies that have that also. What's your thoughts on that? Because you have a runaway leg, you only have to worry about your minor volume leg, and you're getting 10%. I mean, is that not a better binary than ours?
No, absolutely not, Warren, because, and there's only one company that has it that I know of that's successful, and that's Monavie. And they pay 10% on the first 5,000 or 50,000. So 10% of 50,000 is 5,000. I'd rather have 13,500 a week than 5,000 a week, wouldn't you? Any day. If you're going to build 2 legs, you're going to be, in Monavie, you have to have a strong leg and a weak leg. You just get paid on the week leg. So it's no different to say 10% of the week leg or 5% of both legs. That would be the same thing. So you're getting 10% of the week up to $50,000. After $50,000, you don't get paid on that. Isagenix is paying on $225,000. It's very, very important. Very, very important.
Wow. Big, big difference.
Big difference. Huge difference. You're going to work just as hard no matter what company you're in. Don't you want to get paid the maximum you can get paid for your efforts? You always want to get paid the maximum for your efforts. And this is the company that gives you the max for your effort. Believe me, trust me, I know it without a shadow of a doubt.
Now, it was real interesting, Jimmy, because you just said a moment ago that you get paid 18% on your reentry. And, I mean, nobody pays 18% in this industry. Usually it's somewhere in between 4 to 6%. I mean, how can Isagenix afford to pay 18% to me on my reentry? I mean, isn't it going to put the company out of business?
It's mind-boggling to me. It's all the different companies I did. And there's something magic about the 2/3, 1/3, whatever it is. Just a slight adjustment, just a slight change from balanced buying to 2/3, 1/3 makes such a big difference. It's mind-boggling. I can't figure it out. I don't know what it is.
Well, what I was told, Jimmy, when I had it explained to me, is once you max out your main position, doing that $225,000 a week, and you start working on your reentry, and you're making every 300 BV you cycle, so $75,000, you're basically giving yourself that almost $1 million wage increase, and they're paying you 18%. But what needs to be remembered here is, yes, the company is paying you, paying me, paying Lynn Hagedorn extremely well, because they don't want their leadership to go into retirement mode, because you're making $1 million a year. It's very easy to say, I'm done, because it takes effort to build it. Where Jim Coover was so incredibly brilliant was he didn't want his leadership going into retirement. So it's, hey, Jimmy, I'll tell you what, how about you do 1/3 the work, and you give yourself $1 million wage increase. I mean, that's keeping the top leadership in the game. And the way they can do it is, all that new volume, yes, he's paying you well, but everybody above you is already maxed out, which means all that new volume you're creating flows directly to the company. And that's how they can afford to do it. I mean, absolutely brilliant.
It is. It's nothing but brilliant. And every company that ever started network marketing started with 4 or 5 professional networks sponsored and in corporate. And they never sponsored any more. That was it. They sponsored 4 or 5 people at corporate, and that was it. Now, when somebody starts a reentry, it's like the company sponsoring them directly under the company. So instead of having 4 or 5 people sponsored directly by the company, if we have 100 people doing reentries, that's 100 people, new people being sponsored by the company. Because like Warren said, the volume goes, everybody above me is maxed out, so they don't need the volume. The volume goes right to the company, and I get paid on it, and my people get paid on below me. That's brilliant. That is one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen.
Wow. Now, going back to Don Fay, and sort of my next question to you, like speaking, how do you speak to professional network marketers? I mean, people that have had industry experience, and maybe it's someone making $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, or maybe it's a heck of a lot more like Lynn that walked away from a stair-step breakaway where she was making $30,000 to $35,000 a month. But you said when you spoke to Don Fay and he saw Isagenix and what it was about, I mean, he was it. So can you go back to that time on the cruise ship while you were with him, and what did you tell him about our compensation plan to get him so excited? Like, again, we want to learn to talk to people and sort of what to say. What points do you hit on?
Well, there's nobody more professional than me. He's been around the industry for years and goes all around the world training. And I said to Don, Don, thank you for teaching me the geometric progression of numbers. But Don, when I got your video and when I watched it, you only work, you only did the numbers 3 levels deep: 3, 9, 27, 5, 25, 125, 2, 4, 8. And I said, I didn't realize at the time you did that, put that together, that most companies only paid 3 levels. And then, of course, later on come the uni levels that paid 6 and 7 levels in the matrix. And I said, Don, I took your numbers and I went further down. I went 4 levels, 5 levels, 6 levels, 7 levels, 8 levels, 9 levels, 10. And the deeper I went, the numbers were astronomical. And I dreamed, I put it out there that someday I'd find a company that would pay 10 or 15 levels. Little did I ever dream, in my wildest dream, someday I would find a company that would pay 6% unlimited depth. I like to say infinity, but it's really not infinity, no. It's unlimited depth. Infinity is too strong. So the computer, thank God for the supercomputers we have, the computer will search for volume. If it has to go 1,000 levels deep, it will keep searching till it has enough volume, and you have 150,000 in one leg and 75,000 in the other, and then alone will your computer stop searching. It doesn't care how far it has to go. So I explained that to Don. I said, did you realize, Don, there was a company in this industry that paid 6% unlimited depth? He was kind of speechless when, and then I got up on stage and did the numbers. I did the ninth wonder of the world. I did the fail in 90%. I did the invest $500 to get started, commit to $200 a month, eat your overhead, get healthy, fail 90% of the time, get obscenely wealthy. I laid that on him on stage, and I showed him the numbers all the way down. And he was totally impressed. He loved it. And, of course, he was compelled to sign up. He was compelled to sign up. He had been in a company years ago that was a 7-level, uni level, and he had hundreds of thousands of people, but he wasn't making any money because all the top people were below his 7th level, and his business dried up. And that's why he really hasn't been doing network marketing. He's been just training. But now he's back in the trenches. He's back in one of my reentries, and he's excited. And I feel like I paid him back. I really feel like it took years and years, but I think I paid him back. And I think he's going to make a lot of money in Isogenics and be an isovator. I'm almost sure of that.
Wow, what a incredible story. I mean, to come full circle, but it was really sharing with him how powerful the Isogenics compensation plan is. I mean, for the new people coming in, the you plus 2, them plus 2, making $820 in your first 2 weeks, I mean, that's spectacular. That's upfront money. But what Jimmy's talking about is the true residual side of the compensation plan, and you got to understand that we have one of the best compensation plans in the industry. We really do. Now, I know we're coming towards the end of the call, Jimmy, and you have another good friend on the line, Kyle Nakrash, and I'm going to just sort of invite him out. Is there any burning question that you have for Jimmy this evening, Kyle?
Jimmy, it's so good to hear your voice.
Hey, Kyle, right back at you, buddy. Good to hear your voice as well.
Thank you so much. Well, listen, I won't take long here. I know, Jimmy, that there's a few of us right now that are running calls, Millionaire in Action calls, and there's a saying that you have that it stuck to my mind, and I utilize it when times are sort of, life gets in the way, and it's, I will do today what others won't so I can have tomorrow what others can't. Jimmy, if you go back to the beginning when you started, for those days where, maybe you got derailed or when life got in the way, what were some of the daily habits or mindset shifters or reset button, if you wish, that you used to get yourself back in the game and on track?
Well, Kyle, thanks for reminding me of that. For years and years, Kyle, I said that. I'm doing today what others want so I can do tomorrow what others can't. And you know what? I believe that with all my heart and all my soul. And I made an awful lot of mistakes in network marketing. I want everybody to know that. I was in the industry for 14 years when I joined Isogenics, and I was about the equivalent of a 3 or 4 star. Believe me, 14 years, I was equivalent of 3 or 4 star. So if you're in a couple of years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and you're only a 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, please don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. I had the rug pulled out from under me so many times. One company, I bought $15,000 worth of water filters. I was going to be the first national marketing director in the United States. It was a Canadian company out of Montreal. 6 months later, they went out of business. My first big check for $3,000, insufficient funds, it bounced. My whole family said, get out of that industry, get out of that industry. I said, no. That's just a bump in the road. I told my wife, I'm going to make that back 1,000 times. I was totally driven because I understood the numbers. I understood the geometric regression numbers, and I knew someday if I didn't quit, if I kept staying the course and talking to people, I'll never forget in Nu Skin, I heard Richard Call, who made $50 million in Nu Skin, one of the toughest plans I ever seen. He said, if you want to be successful in network marketing, you have to be willing to pay the price. And he said, what is the price? How many people are you willing to talk to on a daily basis? That's the price you have to pay. They will not come to you. You have to seek people. You have to talk to people. You have to build your business. And the question I want to ask everybody in this call, do you have the vision to see this? Do you have the wisdom to understand it and the courage to pursue it? I will tell you, one of the most thrilling parts of my network marketing career is the last few years working with Warren Lance. A natural, I knew the day I met him he was going to be successful. I am so proud of what he has done, what he has built for his family, how many people he has helped, and the way he does this business, the correct way, always reaching out, always helping. I remember when you started this call, Warren, 10, 15 people, 5 people, 10, and look tonight, I don't know how many people, but they're all over the world. You're building an international organization, and you are. I wish I could find someone like Warren Lance, 1 a month, or 2 a year, or 3. Warren, my hat's off to you, buddy. You've done a remarkable job, and I'm so proud of you.
Well,
you
Jimmy,
learned this industry quicker than anybody I've ever seen.
Jimmy, it's been your mentorship along the way, not only of me, but of our team. I'll just say to everyone that Jimmy Smith, even though it appears that he's our upline, in fact, we're not financially linked to Jimmy whatsoever. However, Jimmy's come out to BC, spent a week every year for year after year, training me, training Kyle, training Sean and Carrie Lynn, Frank Pluta. I mean, the list just goes on, supporting our team, and then in turn, us sharing it with the likes of Jen and Jono and Alec and Deb and the whole Australian team down there. And Jimmy, it's because of you that the Take Action team, and it's so much bigger than just me, but it's because of you that the Take Action team's now over 100,000 people around the world. And let me tell you, I'm incredibly grateful. Kyle, I know you absolutely are. It's just been a remarkable journey, wouldn't you say, Kyle?
Absolutely. Much love and gratitude to you, Jimmy.
And I'm proud of you too, Kyle. You've come a long way. You've done a great job. You're amazing. You have an amazing team, Warren. You really do. I remember when you were working hard to keep Kyle and everybody in the game. I just loved the way you did it, and you were kind to them. You were gentle, and you kept doing things to get them going. And I watched it. And it's just a pleasure to see how your team has blossomed. All these wonderful people that you believed in with all your heart, and now they're very, very successful. That's what this is all about. When I fell in love with this industry, this is democracy in its finest form. This is people helping people. You have to help people or you won't succeed. That's what I love about this industry.
Well, Jimmy, it's been an absolute treat this evening having you on the call. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Just from all of us, every one of us on the Take Action team. And I mean, there's many millionaires, there's many six-figure money earners, and a big part of it is because of you speaking belief into me, and in turn allowing me to speak belief into others, and always being there to lend that helping hand to pull me up And I just want to say thank you so much for your time this evening. And you know what? I would love you to come back on the call again, and we can delve deeper into another topic. I mean, we really didn't get into connecting with networkers and really laying it out. But would you be willing to come back and join us again and be it a month
absolutely.
or
so? Absolutely. But I want to make one right point right now about talking to networkers. My dear friends on this call, one thing I can tell you need to say, you ask a networker, how far down does your company pay? Our company, Isagenix, pays 6% on all the BV, bonus volume, on your entire team, unlimited depth until you max out. Nobody else can say that to you. Nobody else can tell you their company pays 6% on all the BV that's in your organization, unlimited depth. That's your strength. That's your power. That's the most powerful thing about the difference between our company and other companies. That's the most powerful thing we have. We pay 6% on all the BV, unlimited depth in everybody in your organization. Write that down, and that's your number one powerful tool when you're talking to a networker. And I've had networkers from other, like Nu Skin, hang up on me because in Nu Skin you have to have 12 executives on your first level to get paid 6 levels deep, 5%. Think about that. You have to have 12 executives on your first level to get paid 6 levels deep. So why wouldn't he hang up? He said, you're lying. You're lying. It's impossible. They can't do it, and he hung up. Now, that's his loss, isn't it? He didn't have an open mind. He should have investigated it to see. 6% unlimited depth on all your BV. Nobody else can say that, my dear friends.
Wow.
Write it down. Write it down.
I wrote it down, Jimmy. So, again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute treat.
Night, everybody. Night, Warren.
Good night.